Hey everybody, it's the Redstone Wizard here again, bringing you another Redstone tutorial. This time, what I got for you is an upgraded version of the last moss farm I made from the Mango. In fact, this is his upgraded version converted over to Bedrock. Link to his video will be in the description, but yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, this is a single cell. This is just a single one. Yeah, it's a pretty sleek, works pretty efficiently. From my testing, the amount of bone meal you get from this is not as much as the other one. Only about 1,000 less per hour. So, but that's just a single cell. So this produces approximately 4,000 an hour. Still pretty good though. And it's easier to build, which is the big thing because there is no real major wonky placement of items other than one piston. And the thing is, it's one piston per slice. But yeah, we could always expand it. So here I got a double one that actually does the same thing. And we could actually just run it, and as you can see, once it's full, it actually starts just clearing out and getting bone meal. And it's a nice little system, and I ran it for a short period of time, and yeah, how much bone meal this thing gets in is insane. So, and it just a simple little process of it. So, what do you say, guys? Let's get to building this thing. Okay, guys, we're back, and this ain't everything. It's at least not with the proper numbers on some of the components because I just decided to get everything in one box. Looking at it took a couple of boxes, so yeah, I figured might as well get it in one box. Okay, you are going to need water and lava, at least 4 buckets per section. Water, create an infinite water source, you're good there. 4 dispensers and 7 droppers. This is required. I do recommend using some type of chest, in chest, trap chest, or regular chest, or you can even use honey if you want. A bunch of hoppers, a bunch of observers, a bunch of obsidian, a bunch of packed ice, some transparent blocks, because we will be using some of it, and it can either be glass, glowstone, or stairs. Some solid blocks. I'm using iron bars. You can use anything. It's pretty much non-full blocks. Some gates. A redstone lamp for signal detection, for signaling, for your visualization. 14 composter. Get yourself a bunch of torches. 4 moss blocks. A bunch of regular pistons. A bunch of sticky pistons. 2 gravity-affected blocks that can conduct redstone. 30, a bunch of repeaters, decent amount of comparators, a bunch of redstone, and 56 target blocks. And this is per slice, 1 lever, and a random item. So the first thing we're going to do is find our spot, and we're just going to place a dropper. Now we're going to grab our hoppers, and we're going to go into the side of one, and then we're going to go out total of 14. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it should look like this. You can have it on this side if you want. You can have it on this side. It choice is up to you. It's based around the way you have the water flowing. Then we're going to grab our ice. And we're just going to encase all of the piston, all the hoppers on part of the side. Now, we're going to go out an extra block. Now, if you want to make the double and make a triple, quadruple, how many ever slices you want, at this point right here is where you put your dropper and your hopper lines. But because I'm not doing that, I'm just going to seal it off as if this next slice is the start. grab your composters grab your composters, and on top of all these hoppers, we're going to throw the composters. We need to throw a block here and a block here. Doesn't matter. We need to seal this side off. I can just add these here and seal that hole off because we don't want water flowing in there. And then we will grab, this is the part that I recommend using chests. But you, like I said, you can use anything you want. 2 chests there. And put a chest, in fact, we'll hold off on the chest here. But then we will grab whatever block we want. At an angle from the dropper. Put a comparator coming out of the dropper. A sticky piston going down. Grab your observers. 1 observer here. 1 observer here, because I don't have water yet. Perfect. We'll place an observer there. And I do recommend using a redstone torch here to activate. It'll work just fine. There wouldn't be any issues. And now we need to grab, and now we can throw our chests here. Now, I'm going to be using lichen for this part. You don't have to, but I like it. I'm going to throw lichen, glow lichen on the backside of that. I'm going to grab my iron bars because I usually have a ton of iron bars anyways. And I'm just going to run it all the way down. Both sides. And there we go. We can even bust that out. I could throw that like that. Items will flow right to that point. This is your output right here. Now what we're going to do is grab our bucket of water, crouch, and waterlog the composter. Grab our blocks that we're blocking water off on. Block the water off. Water. And right here, we will end it. And then just continue the process all over till we end up at the end. And don't worry about that right there. That's a visual glitch. The water is not actually going uphill. It's just a visual glitch. That's fine. Now we're going to take our hoppers and run our hoppers all the way down on top of these composters. And then we are going to take and 1 block past the hoppers, we are going to cover the hoppers with whatever block you want. It doesn't matter. I'm just using glass because I want to, and we can cover up these ones too. Right above our rail system. Now we're going to grab our moss block, our regular pistons, observers, dispensers, and droppers. So, starting right here, in line with a composter at the end, go 1, 2, 3, 4, in line there. We can actually, we can set it right there. And then go to the other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, same thing. And then all you have to do is just flip them around and go. Now for ease, I recommend just temporary block at a corner, a dropper next to it at an angle with a dispenser going into the moss, a observer with a piston, and a hopper going into the bottom dropper. We do that to all of these. And I recommend keeping them all on the same side. That will assist in keeping things straight and uniform. And I forgot to put my dispenser. And now we throw our pistons. And then we encase the pistons in a solid block, leaving a gap right here for the moss to grow. For the moss to grow whatever it's going to grow. And it's only a 1 block gap, so there we go. There's that on that side, and we do it to this side too. Whatever we do to one side, we're going to do the exact same thing to the other. So I'm going to start working on just one side. And I'm going to, and then, so, but this is the only difference between the both sides. You have to have a transparent block here. You can have a solid block over on the other side, but you have to have a transparent block here. Then we're going to grab solid blocks and run it all the way down. And all the way up into here. If you only want, at your terminal point, you can get rid of past that dropper. Anything past that dropper is gone on this line. And then this at the end right here is a repeater. Grab your dust, run it all the way down, one past this moss, and we'll do the exact same thing on the other side. And now we're going to grab whatever blocks we want and create, off of this corner one, a 2x3 with a solid block in that corner. We can take that out. It's unneeded. Dust there, and dust there. A repeater, and then a comparator, and then a comparator going into that block with a 2-tick repeater. A block there with a solid block in front of it, and a repeater there. Now, we're going to go up another block here because we just need to grab our... In fact, I'm actually going to only do one side and only one slice because it is, like I said, it's the same on both. So we're going to place a open fence gate, and then we will grab... You don't have to use stone at this point. It's a decent idea to make it easier on yourself, so it's just preferred. But you don't have to. You can even use dirt. You can even use moss if you want something. But it needs to be either moss, leaves, something that will break if it will get turned into moss. So now what we got to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and we will line up all the glass under here and line up a wall, 2-high wall, all the way down. And I'm just going to block this off for now, because what we need to do is make sure because I need to show you guys specifically where the water needs to flow to. The water needs to flow all the way to just over the fence gate. And we need to waterlog a piston. That will hold that water. I'm going to place you there so I don't have to do it later. And behind here, we need to grab a piece of obsidian or any immovable block. Doesn't matter. And as long as it will not break. And then on top of here, we need to throw a solid block with the dust. Now over here, a regular piston with a solid block, dust, and we can add 3 more stone. Fill this in, and I recommend keeping that uniform. You don't have to have glass after this in the same line as the piston here, or even here. I recommend it though, just there. So 6 blocks of glass. But then from here, we are going to go over 1, leaving a gap, go down 2, and we are going to throw in 2 sticky pistons. 1 here and 1 here. temporary block and grab your target block, and we'll throw it under there. Grab your torches, throw one there and one there, and a solid block with dust right underneath it. Now I'm going to use a piston there and glass there. And then we'll just fill this in as we go. We don't want water flowing, so now from this gap here, we need a solid block, sticky piston, sticky piston. So 3 additional blocks. And yes, I know, you probably don't have to do it. So in line here, a sticky piston, underneath, a sticky piston, an observer on the bottom one going up, a sticky piston going towards the other stickies, and a solid block. A piston on that first one, an obsidian behind it with a solid block. I'm just going to fill this in just to make it easier. And dust on top of that. Get yourself your water. And waterlog these. And above the sticky pistons, leaving a black gap, place obsidian. Place immovable blocks. I prefer obsidian for this because it's honestly a little easier to obtain. And then from under here, on this back top piston, we're going to place a solid block, a temporary block, a target block. We can remove the temporary block, a redstone torch, and underneath that bottom piston, we're going to place a dust. Now, repeat this on both sides 14 times. I'm actually going to get that done right now, and we'll be right back. All right, guys. Now we've got the moss platforms ready. So now all we have to do is just get the brain in. So now this part right here is for the moss and the water line. But we're going to do the easy thing first. Grab buckets of lava and go 1, 2, 3, 4. Drop it off and drop one off on the other side. Go to the other corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 8 buckets per. 8 buckets per slice. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean section. And this will all turn to stone. And no water will be left in the center after it all turns to stone. This is actually a lot more consistent than any other method I have seen. So, we're going to be utilizing it. Now, grab yourself a repeater. We're going to throw one here and here. Let me put it across there. Grab a solid block. Throw solid blocks on the corners of these. And in fact, it's the same thing. Whatever you do to one side, you're going to do to the other. So dust those. Connect that. Add an extra block here. Add 2 extra. Come down 1. Over 1. Run it all the way over here. Just in line. We can take that out for now. Now on the second one, we're going to drop it. And throw a torch on top of that. Go down 1 at an angle. Encase it pretty much. And create a 4x2 with the corner cut off. We don't need that. We can place a block here. We don't need that. We can throw dust here. And a 3-tick repeater, a 3-tick repeater, a 3-tick repeater, and then dust right here. We can throw we need a solid block there, a 1-tick piston there, a 1-tick repeater, dust all the way like this with a 3-tick right there. Block on top of there, whatever block you want there, leaving a gap there. I'm going to temporarily leave that there. a sticky piston. Now I'm going to bust it out. A glass on top of the sticky piston with a gravity affected block. I'm using sand because I had a couple of times where it got transferred into concrete and I didn't like it. And a 4-tick repeater right here and a dust right there. Now we're going to place now we're just going to staircase up using glass or slabs or glowstone, but we're going to staircase up using those. And now when this gets powered, when this side gets powered, this whole thing will activate. So if I forgot to put the glass in here for the moss. Yeah, as soon as if I come up in here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, just pop out these ones. And then grab grab a random lever and go. Wait a few moments, let it go. They get filled in. And that's what we need. So we're good there. So now we're going to take off of this, on top of this repeater, glass block, go over one and up one. So dust, 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 dust. A solid block with a torch. Now when we do the counter, it's going to run it. And then all we have to do is, in line with this piston and this repeater, we're going to run a line of blocks all the way across. And we're going to end up doing the same thing over here as over there. Leaving a 1 block gap. We're just going to run this all the way back. And this is why I recommended the torch right here, because the torch is empowering this, and this will not touch anything there. If you replace this with a transparent block, you can use whatever thing you want there. And we'll throw a 1-tick repeater there, so now that both sides will be active at the same time. Come over here. Come to where this dust is. Go over 1. Grab yourself a sticky piston. Going underneath. Place it with an observer on its face. Leaving a 1 block gap. A solid block with a torch. Leaving a 1 block gap. Create a 2x3 next to a 5x2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5x2. 1, 2, 3x2. You will place dust all the way along here and here. Put a solid block there because we need it there. A sticky piston on top of that solid block. And an observer. Again, that's done all the way over there. Now, 2 repeaters on the ends here. Repeater, repeater, repeater. You can grab a lever. And we're going to power this line here. And we're going to throw a repeater right there. And then take that out. So now we have a counter. It's going to step 3 times before it activates. So now we've got that done. I am going to take and knock out the brain for over here real fast, and then we'll be right back. Okay, guys. I've got the brain for the opposite side built. It's all connected, good to go. Now we need to get the timer. So, come into the middle. Go 1 block to one side. Whichever side you're not going to put put down the pulse extender. We're going to set a dropper. Let me move that over 1 more right there. A dropper there, and I'm just temporary block to put a dropper going into there. And we will grab 4 hoppers going into this first one. You can move it over 1 if you want, and have this in line. It's not that important. 2 solid blocks underneath there. I am going to grab my redstone lamp, add a corner from this hopper, and then throw a torch right above it, and then we can throw a random block in. That's going to create our clock. We can throw a solid block, and then throw glass. I'm throwing glass here, all the way. Putting a repeater here and here. Dust, all of that, and a solid block there with dust. That will turn it off and push all items into the center. And throw your lever on that. And now while it's running, that shuts off, and while it's not, water guarantees to come on. It's to cut down on the loss of any of it sitting there. So now we're going to come one block with an observer facing down, an observer detecting that observer powering this block, and an observer there with an observer there. And yeah. Okay, so now then we're going to grab a comparator coming out of this repeater. This one right here, we're going to throw it in. We'll throw it there. And a 2-tick repeater there. Throw a solid block in front of it and one next to it with a block up, a block down, a block up, in line. So a cross with an extra line, and then the inverse. So we want this guy right here. 2 comparators, one there, with dust on the top, a block down, a block down. We'll put a block up, a block over, and a block up. We will throw dust right here, and a repeater right there, and right there. That will keep everything in line. And then all you have to do is grab yourself some bone meal. I'm just grabbing 4 stacks, throwing a stack in each one, in each dropper, just to show you guys that this is correct. And then just then flip this lever and water goes away. 1, 2, that fired. One of them we got into the system, so we're good there. We got to make sure the other one works. All right, and what's going on here? Oh, okay. Now, if this is a good point, if this happens, grab yourself a lever and I recommend just throwing repeaters and a dust. Power these. That will cut the lava off. Turn the lava on again, and it'll turn them into stone. Flip it again. Close it. And then you can bust these out if you're getting that issue. Or you can even just do this, but you're going to make sure that no cobblestone. Cobblestone bad. And then, yeah, then if you are doing it this way, instead of it all at once, run it again and see if any cobblestone happens. Fill it up with normal stone, helps out a lot. It prevents it from breaking. And okay, now distinguishing blocks. are very useful because they'll tell you when something messed up, and it's easy to fix. And these are just for appearance. They could be, you can keep them as stone if you want. But now this should work properly now. There we go. It's working the way it should. Breaking them, and bam. The more in one line it has, the less it's going to produce. The less it's going to break at once. The less it has in one line, it'll clear up almost instantly. So that's what happens. As you can see, we're getting a good amount. And it all is getting turned into bone meal. And sit into the first hopper first. And yes, you will lose a little bit here. But overall, it's a net positive, which is always a good thing. And this one will run out, so you'll have to make sure that you fill these up occasionally until it becomes self-sufficient. And then when you turn it off, any of them that are still there will just get pushed into there and turn to bone meal sent through the system. Now, whatever you guys do, do not leave it running while it is not loaded. It will break. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, leave a like. If you have any questions or comments, leave it down in the comment section. If it's a major issue, I recommend you join my Discord. Link to that will be in the description. If you want to support me, you can subscribe. But you guys, this is the Redstone Wizard. Enjoy building.